Hi, my name is David. Today we're going to do number 1464, maximum product of two elements in an array. This is an easy level problem and we're going to solve it in JavaScript. So basically, giving the array of integers nums, you will choose two different indices I and j of the array and return the maximum value of nums index of I minus 1 times nums index of j minus 1. So basically, here's the example, nums, here's an array, here's the output. Basically, we get this 12 by getting the maximum value of multiplying this. So we see 4 and 5 is the highest amount. 4 minus 1 is 3. 5 minus 1 is 4. And 3 times 4 is 12. So there's multiple ways you can solve this. The first one that came to my mind was doing a loop and doing a nested loop, but that would have been O of n squared. Another one would have been sorting this array and then multiplying the last index by the second to last index. But sorting the array would be O of n log n. So there's one way, there's a way that we can do to make it time complexity of O of n, and it took me a while to figure out, but here it is. Basically, what we're going to need to do is that we're going to create a max variable. And this is going to hold the maximum variable, the maximum value of the index. The second thing we will need to do is we need to create a max2 variable. And this will hold the second highest value of the index. And then we'll multiply it by each other minus 1 first and then by each other to get that value. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to loop through nums. And inside of this loop, we have to create a condition if current index value is greater than max and max2. So this condition is when we find the new highest max. And if that happens, we have to use a variable change so for the second part is you change the max to current index value, and then yeah, now it makes more sense. And then you change the max2 to max, saying that what we had before will become the second max. And now we have to create the other condition, else if the current index value is just greater than max2, we will create change max2 to the current index value. And this will will solve the edge cases too, because in case that there's these variables are equal to each other, if there's like 2, 5, and 5, because it's going to get it here by changing the max to the max. And now we return max1 minus 1 times max2 minus 1. And put this in parentheses. Great, now let's put it in code. So first we create the variables that max equals And we can see that if we look at the constraints, we know that the minimum is 1. So the minimum could be is 1. So we don't have to put 0 or negative affinity or anything like that. And the second one could be let max 2 equals 1. So then we loop through nums for let I equals 0, I is less than nums.length I plus plus. And inside of this, we will have to have the condition. So if current index value nums index of I is greater than max and current index of I is greater than max 2, this is when we find a new max inside of this. And like in the first case, we'll find it here. And then second case, oh yeah, this 5 gets replaced. And then next one, the 5 gets replaced. And the next one, 4 doesn't, the next 5 gets replaced. So max 2 equals max equals nums index of I. And next we need the else if case. If this is only occurs where we find the second max 2 equals nums index of I. And now we finish this loop. So outside of it, we return max minus 1 in parentheses for order of operations times max 2 minus 1. Great. Great. So the time complexity is going to be, like I said, O of n. And then the space complexity, since we're creating constant variables, will be O of 1. And that is how you solve this problem. Thank you.